Leading your team requires extreme skills.
I spent 10 years working with expert mountain guides in 7 countries on expeditions to climb high mountains and on high trails around the world. And I learned that guides lead in a particular way. They have 6 key leadership strengths. And I think these strengths apply in business just as well as they do in extreme environments. Guides are socially intelligent, which means they are quick to size up a situation. They're great at building positive relationships, and they really understand how to work with clients, particularly clients who know less about the extreme environment or mountaineering than they do. So leading like a guide means being socially intelligent. It's a skill that you can develop and build. Most of us are pretty aware about emotional intelligence. We're self-aware, aware of others. We can control ourselves. Social intelligence simply takes it one step further and talks about building positive relationships. A guide learns to lead in a number of different ways, and this is necessary in business too. One of the guides I know talks about leading by teach, coach, and guide. First, he will teach in the lodge. On the trail, he will coach, and then he will guide, which means follow me, don't step to the left, don't step to the right, see what I do. Leading like a guide means if you're clear about leadership style and you have a number of flexible styles, you'll be much better off leading in business as well as in the mountains. The third skill is empowerment, helping people do their job, getting them to join the conversation, removing obstacles in their way. Guides get you as high as you possibly can get. They help you reach the summit. And the same thing in business. If you guide your employees and empower them, you will help them do things that perhaps they didn't think they could do. Trust building is very important. A guide teaches you how to build trust in yourself, in your feet, and in the guide himself. And the same thing for management. Managers need to build trust amongst their employees. It's good to have faith. Faith is important when you're climbing a mountain. Where you really want to be is confident. Trust is the link between faith and confidence. The fifth is risk-aware, and I didn't say risk-averse. In business and in climbing, you need to have some willingness to approach risk. Risk is part of the environment, both in healthcare and in the mountains. But risk-aware means being aware of the situation around you. A guide keeps their eye on the summit, on the weather, on the trail, on the conditions, and the same thing in a hospital. A guide, if you lead like a guide, you'll think carefully about how you lead people and help them understand risk, mitigate risk where you can, but not be risk-averse. Otherwise, you won't build new services, you won't take that small risk that's necessary. A guide has their eye on the big picture. A less experienced climber will rush to the summit, and sometimes they'll get up to the top and can't get back down, given that a storm comes in or a thunderstorm and they'll get trapped. A guide knows this, and a guide looks at the big picture. A manager also needs to have their eyes on the big picture. Ronald Heifetz from the Harvard Kennedy School says, get on the balcony. It's hard to see what's going on if you're on the dance floor. If you get up and get on the balcony and you can see the patterns, you can see how the shapes are evolving. So it's not just moving from one trend to another, it's looking at the big picture. These are important skills, I think, for managers. So leading like a guide encompasses 6 key leadership strengths. And I think if you lead like a guide, empower your people, coach them, help them be risk aware, and help them see the big picture, you become a really strong leader.